Well, I got my, you ready?
Yeah, sure.
We got baseball stuff still. It's hot. Man, it's hot.
Yeah.
That's what they call the dog days of summer. It's freaking hot out here. But anyway, we're the geniuses that decided to do this in an outbuilding.
Yeah,
because,
stood in a metal shed. That's a good idea.
well, the whole idea is that, they play sports in the heat. We need to do this in the heat.
We're also old enough to do that shit in the heat.
Yeah, I'm working on maybe getting an air
There you
conditioner.
go. That's more like it.
Anyway, we did first baseman. It's time to do second baseman. We're going to go around there. We're going to do our top second baseman that we have been a part of since we've been watching Major League Baseball. So
there's not a lot of good ones.
No Rogers,
so you know.
No Rogers Hornsby.
Yeah.
All right, well, come on back in. Let's talk about it.
All right.
And we welcome you back to the Midnight Riders Podcast. I'm Johnny.
I'm Chuck.
We said last time we would start doing, since it's baseball season and this is the time of the year everybody starts getting hurt and rosters start changing and
hard to keep up with the day by day.
So. Well, in the standings, they kind of stay the same.
Yeah.
They don't move. I mean, the standing board I got behind me right here is pretty pretty solid. Been that way for a while.
Yep.
So we thought we'd just go look at the old days, and
our old days.
We did our first baseman last podcast. We're gonna take a look at that, where we ranked the first baseman. We're gonna all-time first baseman
that we've seen
since we've been since we were kids watching baseball. We don't go back to Ruth Gehrig and Mays and all that kind of mess. We're a little bit too young for that, if you can believe it. So now we're gonna move into the second base position. One of my favorite positions. I played it quite a bit in sports.
Good position, but
man, there's not a lot.
It's not exactly stacked like the first baseman were. That's for sure.
First baseman is hard to make some decisions. And second baseman,
there's some good ones.
I mean, I ended up with
It's very top heavy.
I got 5 or 6 honorable mentions.
I found 5 honorable mentions, and I had to stretch a little bit for them, but.
Well,
they were pretty good. I had a couple on there that I thought were pretty good till I looked at their stats and thought, yeah, no, they weren't that good.
No, well, but you know as well as I do, and we've talked about it before. Stats, baseball is all about stats. However, there's some intangibles out there to the baseball fan that can say, and some of those intangibles made my top 10 on the second baseman. It's not all about numbers for me when it comes to this position. This position is just as much about fielding as it is playing the game and hitting. And
I have a couple of my top 10 that are.
But anyway, let's run it down. Top 10 second baseman during our era, if we will. Go first. What do you got? Number 10. Who's
number 10? What we were just talking about. Not exactly stat heavy, but I always thought he was really good. Is Bobby Grich.
Bobby Grich
for the Orioles.
Good choice. I had him on my. I thought I had him on my alternate.
I
can't argue with it.
I had him higher up.
Yeah.
Then I kept finding more that would bump him. I had him in honorable mention. And was almost about to bump him out again when I started looking at all the stats. I think of some of the guys with better stats. I just don't think they were better players. I think they're just
Bobby Grich
just a relation to when they played.
Well, Grich was that guy who did everything they needed him to do.
Right.
He didn't hit 300. He didn't steal you a base, but by God, he was so good.
I mean, career average was 266, 1,833 hits.
So good up the middle.
But he was a leader.
Yes,
he was a leader. He was tough. He was that 60s, 70s,
you're in that
80s guys.
You're with that Orioles team where you got he played with Brooks Robinson. He played with Boog Powell. He played with Mark Belanger, Paul Blair, Al Bumry. That ungodly pitching staff.
Oh, yeah, the Cuellar Palmer staff,
He got lost. He got lost in the middle of all that.
Yeah, but you watch him.
He was good.
And he fielded his position. He played his position. And
he did.
He was just one of those, I said, stat heavy. He wasn't very stat heavy, but he still hit 224 home runs, 864 RBIs.
Yes.
For a time when second basemen weren't really in there for their offense.
No, you can't. Well, as we go through our list, you're going to find there weren't many that knocked the hell out of the ball. But the guy was consistent, played every day, did what he needed to do. He was that guy.
Tough ball players. If you listen to our first baseman podcast,
right,
we're both kind of lean toward those guys who were tough, who were true ball players. That were, that would do everything you asked him to do. He'd
Play hurt.
He'd play shortstop. He'd play third. He'd play second.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly second. But yeah, he was fun to watch for me.
Solid player.
Yep.
Good up the middle. My number 10 was they call him, he traveled a lot toward the end of his career, but I'm going Tony Phillips.
Ooh. Okay.
And this is one of those guys that, I mean, he wasn't on my list, but then he was, and then he wasn't, and then he was. I ended up having to put him in our 10 simply because you look at the last last 5-6 years that he played. In '97, he played for 3 different teams. In '98, he played for 3 different teams. Started.
Right.
I mean, they trade him and he starts.
Right.
And the guy, I mean, he was a lifetime 266 hitter. I mean, he wasn't, but he did everything they needed him to do. Many seasons he played over 150 games. Consistent. There. Did what he needed to do. He was one of those guys that a lot of teams, he played on a lot of teams, but a lot of teams wanted him.
He was always part of the trade. Give us him, yeah.
And everywhere he went, he helped. He wasn't just a throw-in guy that sat on the bench, number 25. No, he played everywhere he went.
Right, but he was a utility player. He played everywhere.
He was.
Played every position.
He was. I had a hard time knocking him out of there. And then we'll look at why whenever I go to my honorables a little bit later. We'll discuss that. But I got Tony Phillips, number 10.
No, good choice. I like that.
What do you got?
My number 9 is really probably my last of the most current age players. I got Chase Utley.
I got him on my list too.
He was one that I had on my list, but I really wasn't sure stat-wise where he was at.
Right.
He was a decent fielder, but he was played when that when it really was turning on second base and became like everybody else.
Well, I put him at number 5. He's my number 5 guy.
Yeah, he was number 9 for me. I mean, he had over 1,000 RBIs.
Yeah.
259 home runs, career 275 hitter.
Yes.
He was, and I'm not a Phillies fan by any means, but he was good to watch, and he was another hard-nosed guy that didn't miss games, didn't get hurt very often at all.
No.
And was always
consistent. He played the position very well. He covered it very well.
Yep.
He did what he was needed, what they asked him to do. If he had a few things different to do, I mean, the guy. I mean,
you didn't hear him bitch and moan.
No, again, another guy that started pretty low on my list, but I mean, he played from 03 to 2018. I mean, 154 stolen bases, 250 home runs, 411 doubles. I mean, 150 stolen bases. I mean, the guy, he did what they, and he was a good glove man.
Yeah, he was a good fielder up the middle.
He was one of those guys that really helped keep
played,
everybody in the game.
Yeah, he played up the middle there when they had Rollins playing short, and they were good. They both played all the time. Rollins was probably on my shortstop list. I mean, it was a good duo up the middle. So,
my number 9, I got Chuck Knobloch.
Yeah, I never liked him.
I know you didn't, and that's
I
one of the
never
reasons
liked
on my list. I mean, the thing about Knobloch was he was hard nosed. I liked his hard nosed style. Wasn't, I mean, what's his average here? 289 hitter, which is solid for a second baseman in those days. 400 stolen bases. I mean, he played, maybe 11, 12 years. He played 12 years and had 400 stolen bases. I mean, 600 RBIs.
Yeah.
Hell, he almost had 100 home runs, 320. I mean, the guy, he was consistent, 150 games plus every year.
Yeah.
He was consistent. I didn't like it when he went to the Yankees. It became one of those guys, oh, God, I really loved watching him play. And then he went to the Yankees.
Right.
And so I lost a lot of my enthusiasm for him.
Yeah.
But I just like watching the guy play.
And you'll probably be surprised. I didn't even put this guy on my list. I didn't put. He reminds me too much of Steve Sachs.
Yeah.
As the same kind of player. And me being a huge Dodger fan. I love Sachs. But
but Knobloch could hit.
Sachs didn't put up the numbers he put up, but I always kind of related those two to each other.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was never a huge Knobloch fan, but he put up good numbers.
Well, yeah, Steve Sachs is a good comparison. It's just Knobloch. I like the name first.
Yeah, it is a good ball name. It is a good ball name.
But anyway, what do you got at number 8?
My number 8, Julio Franco.
Oh, see, you're right. He was a second baseman.
Right. I mean, he gained a lot more notoriety later on as DH, but
in first base, he moved first. He's one of those guys who moved first base too.
But career 298 hitter.
Yep.
1,100, almost 1,200 RBIs, 400 doubles, almost 2,600 hits.
What he played till he was 50?
Yeah, I mean the guy was, like I said, that's why he became a DH, playing for all those Indians teams.
And then the Rangers.
in the Rangers. Yep, and just always produced. He just always produced.
He was. God, he could swing the bat.
Yeah. Another one of those guys that had one of those weird stances that you couldn't figure out how he was able to hit the ball.
I know the bat was way the hell up
other
here.
than ungodly hand speed.
And you're throwing 98 to this guy, and his hands are way up here. And how does he get the bat down and through the zone as quick as he did? God, the guy was good.
Yeah, he's having to uncoil. And
See, I didn't. He was one of those guys that I thought played everywhere, which he did. But if you think about it, he only played second base until the end of his career. He's like a Rod Carew guy.
Yep.
So, but okay, good choice. Yep. I got a number 8. I got Ian Kinsley.
Oh, Kinsley?
Yep. Rangers.
Yep.
And again, just a ball player.
He is. I had him on my honorable mention.
The choices in second base were so weak.
Yeah.
In my honorable mentions, there's some guys in there that played well and were good, but they just, something about them just didn't do it. Ian Kinsley's that guy that showed up to the ballpark every day ready to play. He wanted to play. He was there. Solid. Strong. Just, I mean, what was his 269 average? I mean, 250 home runs. I mean,
they played in that year.
I don't know. There was just something about the guy I liked watching him play.
Yeah, no. So, he's a good ball player. He's a good player on those Rangers teams, and yeah.
Well, my first 3 were kind of just heart picks because of the way that. Now I'm gonna get a little bit better as I go up. But what do you got on number 7?
My number 7, Lou Whitaker for the Tigers.
Lou Whitaker he's an honorable mention for me.
Yep. I enjoyed watching with him and Trammell up the middle. It was always the talk of those two because they played you don't get it anymore. They played together for
ever.
God knows, both of them, I think they played together their entire careers.
Yes.
That's second and short. And Whitaker was another 2,367 hits, 244 home runs.
Well, Whitaker's the guy that I didn't put him on my list because I don't know. He was, where we talked about Bobby Grich earlier, where he was kind of lost in the Orioles thing. Yeah. Whitaker was kind of lost to me in the Tigers whenever they made the big run with Gibson and Berkman and
Brookins and
Brookins and Trammell and Kurt Gibson. I mean, I wasn't a Tigers fan.
No, not at all.
To begin with. And Lou Whitaker just didn't do much for me. He didn't do much. I mean, so. Well, I mean, he's worthy. I mean, he's worthy. So, number 7 for me, I'm going with Davey Lopes.
He's on my honorable mention. I have a hard time moving him out of my top 10, but because he's a Dodger. But
again, a guy that played with the Dodgers, the A's. He played for the Cubs. He played for the Astros. He played for the Dodgers again. I mean, this guy was traveled, but everywhere he went, he was a vital part of the team. He wasn't just another guy they threw in on the trade.
Yeah.
This guy was a hard-nosed player. This is the guy that he would stand at second, try to take me out. Come on. He would challenge guys running down the base path. He was a good, solid player for me. Yep. Not a Dodger fan here at all. But he was just one of those guys I think is just a great player.
Yeah, well, if you watch him, with the way he played, again with the Dodger group, with him and Russell Garvey, together forever. But Lopes was, he was that. What do you have? 155 home runs, 557 stolen bases.
Yep,
could fill the position. And this is another guy who never missed. He played 162 games a year. Yeah.
And again,
he didn't come out.
We're saying this a lot, but another 260 hitter. Yeah. But second basemen back then weren't brought in to hit the ball. They were brought in to play defense, cover the middle, take one at second.
Yep. And if he produced anything, that was a bonus.
You betcha.
And that's when the Dodgers had moved him up to leadoff, and he stole bases like crazy. Yeah. And he was just a production guy. Just a great to move. In my opinion, just great. Just I
agree. It's a great little player. Agree. So, who's your number 6?
Oh man, this hurts. I hated doing this, but you can't ignore the numbers. Not a great fielding second baseman, but Jeff Kent.
Well, I didn't put him on there just for the same reasons that you're saying.
He even played for the Dodgers. I didn't like him when he played for the Dodgers.
I didn't like Jeff Kent in any way, shape, form.
I never thought he was a good human being. From the stories I heard, he was but good Lord, I went to looking at his numbers.
We're going to pause for a second. Hang on one second. And we're back. I had to change the frame because it's hot.
One of us going to have a heat stroke.
Well, he was talking about Jeff Kent, and I got pissed, and so I had to change the frame.
Anyway, go ahead. It hurt me more than anything else to put him up on this list, but 377 home runs,
I know.
1,500 RBIs, 290 career hitter,
Well, he's a
Hall
whiner.
of Famer.
He's a baby.
But
and he got bitch and gripe about
He
everything.
was so painful to watch, but and he's the Giants. I hated the Giants in a way, but God, you just can't ignore the numbers.
I know, but I just
didn't
like the guy.
Yeah, nope.
There was just too many things about him that I didn't like. So.
Nope, I agree, but yeah, that's
my number 6. I got Mr. Craig Biggio.
He was my next one up. He was my number 5. Loved watching him play.
So much fun. I mean, I almost didn't put him as a catcher for so long.
Right.
Whenever they put him at second base, he just dominated. He took over. He dominated that position.
That's why they got moved from catcher to second to center.
I know.
Second.
Athlete.
And he played.
Guy's just an athlete.
And he played with the Bagwell and Bertman and that Astros team.
Yep.
Before they were a bunch of cheaters. The Astros team that was really, really good.
That's right.
Biggio was awesome. Biggio, 3,000 hit guy.
I know. Oh, man, the man is just incredible. Everything he did well. Yeah. He was a player. He got dirty every game. He's the guy to go. I mean, the guy. What was he? All 5'5", 5'6", maybe.
Not big at all.
Not a big guy, but boy.
But you wouldn't know it.
God,
you wouldn't know it.
This guy, I loved watching him play. So. I got Craig Biggio number 6.
Nope, he was my number 5. So if you want to jump to your number 5,
oh damn, okay.
Well, I got a feeling we're gonna match up here in a minute.
Well, my number 5 was Chase Utley. We already got that. You go to number 4.
Cool. My number 4.
Yeah, I think we're gonna match. I think our top 4 may be the same.
This one, 3 of them probably will be. This one, I don't know if you went this deep or not, but Robinson Cano is my number 4.
Honorable mention.
Okay, yeah.
Barely missed my list.
Man, look at his numbers.
Wow. Okay. My argument with Robinson Cano's numbers. The lineup he was hitting in, he was one of the few guys that could see pitches.
He had to.
So,
yeah.
I ain't putting him in my list.
But you still got to do it. I mean, 1,300 RBIs, 301 career hitter, 335 home runs.
As a Cub fan, I don't buy the fact that Cano was that good because I put it in the Mario's, Soriano. What's his first name? I forget his first name.
Rafael Soriano?
Rafael Soriano, the guy who was with the Yankees and just knocked the hell out of the ball until the Cubs got him because he saw every pitch in the world in the Yankees lineup. Then he was hitting 3-hole for the Cubs. He didn't do jack shit simply because there's a difference in what lineup you're hitting in whether or not you're going to see any pitches. Cano saw every fastball known to man because everybody else got the junk because they didn't want to pitch to anybody else. So I did that. I don't go for the Robinson. I don't do it.
That's the one I didn't think you'd have, and that's why I put it on there though. Yep. Who you got number 4?
Yeah. Roberto Alomar.
Yep, he was my number 3.
And I hated putting him on this list. I don't like him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like what he stands for. I don't like the way he carried himself. God,
exactly, this is my Jeff Kent argument. But you can't ignore.
No, but this guy
was.
This guy played for damn near every team in Major League Baseball because nobody wanted him around because of his attitude and his demeanor and that San Diego, Toronto, Baltimore, Cleveland, the Mets, White Sox, Arizona. I mean, this guy played in so many places. Nobody wanted him, but everybody wanted him.
But everybody wanted him for a while.
Yes.
Long enough to get us through the pennants or something else.
Until they couldn't take any more of
him. Yeah.
And
another career 300.
You can't say he wasn't a great player because he was.
No, God, yeah, he was.
But I wouldn't want him on my team.
He's an incredible player.
I wouldn't want him on my team.
It's the Albert Bell, Manny Ramirez theories of look what they're going to do for you, but look what they're going to do to you.
Look what they bring. You can't hide. I've always been a big guy. Of you can't have it in the clubhouse. And this guy here took so much away from now when he was but in his young years when they won the pennant in Toronto and he's there, Joe Carter and all those guys. He wasn't so bad, but boy, the further he got and started believing in the hype and believing his headlines, and he just
he got out of control. But
I had to put him in there, because he's just that good.
Yeah.
Who do you got? What's next? Number 3?
Alomar was my number 3,
okay.
and I'm sure our one.
Who was your number 4?
Cano.
Oh yeah, my number 3 is Rod Carew.
Oh, okay. So you went with Carew was second. Okay.
Yeah,
See, I had Carew on my first base.
Yeah,
because that's what I had. To
that was the argument we had.
Yeah.
Well, the discussion. You had him on first base. I go on second base.
Right.
And for the same reasons you had him at first base. I mean, throw him a pitch and see if he doesn't hit it. He'll throw. I mean, this guy, I still don't know how he did what he did for as long as he did. I mean, the guy played 19 years, and
I don't know how.
I mean, looking at his stats, his first year, his rookie year in 1967, he hit 292. The last year he played in 1985, he hit 280. I mean,
how many? I was just going to say, how many career triples did he have? Because he's one guy that I remember watching.
112.
Exactly. He's one guy that I remember watching growing up, thinking, "Good Lord, he's hitting more triples than guys." Guys hit doubles.
1977, he hit 16 triples.
It's unheard of. You don't do that.
No, you don't do that.
The guy
was he had legs that were.
Yeah.
I mean, my gosh, this guy could move.
I mean, he going from the left side of the plate, he hit the ball on the hill before the ball hit the grass. The guy's almost rounding first.
Yeah.
He was incredible to watch.
Yeah.
Loved watching him play. Yeah, I had him on my first baseman. He would have easily been in my top 3.
Yeah. Well, our top 2 are the same. Which order did you put them in?
Well, I got Joe Morgan number 2.
So do I.
Yep. There you
go. I mean, Joe Morgan. My God.
Another one I hated putting on there because I just didn't like him because I'm a Dodger fan. But
whenever the Astros
awesome.
moved him to Cincinnati,
yeah,
I didn't understand why.
Stupid. I don't even remember who the deal was for.
I don't either. But
they got screwed.
Unless he just wanted to get out of there. Is the only thing I mean, Joe was sure send me to Cincinnati. Yeah, hell yeah.
Let me play with Rose and Concepcion
and Bench and Perez and get
Foster and Geronimo. Yeah.
I'll move over there.
Yeah.
This guy. What do we got here? Look at his number, 271 career here. Guy played 22 years.
Yeah, look at his stolen bases.
I mean, stolen bases, 689. RBIs, 1,100 RBIs.
Yeah.
I mean,
268 home runs,
consistent.
Again, look at
1,800 walks.
Look at his games played. I mean, I guarantee it's over 140, 150 every single year. If it wasn't 162.
I mean, the guy is. My God. Everything about this guy, he played hard. He took a shot at second base and stood right up. The guy had a decent arm. But, I mean, the guy had range. He didn't look like a guy that would have any range whatsoever.
Not at all.
But he played a deep second base and covered so much ground.
Yeah. But he's one of those guys that if you put together an all-time second baseman, he's still going to be.
Yeah.
I don't know if he might fall down a spot or two because of your Rogers Hornsbys or other guys like that are much, much older. But he's still going to be up there.
Well, for the era the guy played. It's just almost impossible to find somebody better. In the 70s, he might be the best second baseman playing in the 70s.
Yeah, I think so.
In the decade of the 70s, he might be the best.
I think so.
The little chicken wing he's got whenever he swings, I mean, he attacked the baseball when he's at the plate.
Right, but like you said, how many walks did he have? The guy got on base. The guy was just...
Well, he's always a good number 2
hitter.
He hit two hitter.
Perfect. Well, I say perfect. They don't do it in Aaron Judge. It's 2-hole now.
No,
it's not used the way it used to be used.
No,
but
the guy
Morgan was ideal. Contact, could move the ball, could do whatever he wanted.
Well, he could bunt for a hit. He could sacrifice.
Yeah.
You want a fly ball? Okay, where do you want me to hit it? I mean, the guy was a master tactician with the bat.
It was great.
So, and number 1, of course, is the man.
Have at it.
The man.
Let you talk.
They just put up the old statue. Orion
Yeah.
Yeah,
what do you say?
Fan. It's a heart play, but there is no. I mean, Mr. Baseball to me.
It don't matter.
He's Mr.
Heart
Baseball
fan all you
to me.
want.
The guy played. He was solid. He showed up every day. He didn't whine. Didn't beg. Never argued about a salary. He just played. He played baseball.
He was that 5'12" player that everybody supposedly guns for, looks for, and wants to have. And this guy was it.
Yep.
He had everything. And
played
every day.
I mean,
he wasn't even a second baseman. He started out as a shortstop.
He was a shortstop for just a short time in the minors. But the thing is the guy was, consistent.
Yeah.
Just consistent.
Every year.
Hit number 2. Then they moved him to 3 when he needed to be moved to 3. Then he went back to number 2. And it didn't matter who was hitting around him. They started pitching around him, yet he still hit 300. He was still hitting, 20, 30 home runs. He was still, I mean, hell, he hit 19 triples in 1984. I mean,
And again, another one of those guys who you put him in nowadays, and they'd be bitching to trade me, get rid of me. We can't win.
Yeah.
Whatever. This guy stuck with the Cubs the entire time.
Sure.
Went through some damn good years with the Cubs, but never got to win anything, which is a shame.
And then didn't cry because I want to go play somewhere where we can win a championship. The guy was just a great player, great guy. Everybody that ever played with him said he was a fantastic human being.
Never heard anything bad about him. Never heard anything bad about him. Still haven't heard anything bad about him.
I don't chase autographs. I'm not an autograph chaser, but this is one I got.
Yeah.
I got it. So I'm at a card show in Texas when I was down there one day. I got an autograph bat from the man.
Nice.
And this was back in the late mid '90s. I mean, it's just everything about the guy just says baseball, and he's my favorite player of all time, and that he's going to be ranked #1 for me. But in all reality, there wasn't a better second baseman.
Again, I was going to say you put the all-time list together, and he's still
top 10.
Who, I mean, there's not many even all time that you're going to put ahead of him.
Well, I mean, the glove. I mean, the guy was one of the best defensive players.
Yeah, you haven't even talked. I mean, we talked for a few minutes on. You haven't even talked about his defensive ability.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all offense, but the guy played. He won some Gold Gloves.
He won a lot of Gold Gloves.
I mean, the guy could just play all the way around.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All righty. Well, there's our top 10. Who you had? Are we getting anybody on the honorable mentions?
I got 3 more that weren't mentioned.
I got 2. Who do you got?
I've got Dustin Pedroia.
Wouldn't even put him on my list.
I've got.
Nope, didn't make it.
I got Carlos Baerga.
See, Baerga was a borderline guy.
He was my last one on my honorable mention because of that. He started on my list and just slowly kept getting knocked out.
Well, again, he played with Joe Carter. He played with that ungodly strong Cleveland Indians team.
Yeah.
How many pitches would he not have seen?
Right.
So
decent numbers, but the other one I got this is the guy that barely missed my top 10. I went between him and Bobby Grich.
Yeah.
It was Frank White with the Royals.
Yeah. I saw Frank White. He again never did anything for me. The 2 I have on mine are both. I kept them off because number 1, Willie Randolph is on my honorable mention list simply because he was part of that Yankee stuff, but he didn't make my top 10 list because he was hitting the middle of the top of the Yankee lineup.
I was gonna say,
they're going to pitch to him.
Yeah, you got Pinella and Jackson and Nettles and Munson.
He's going to see pitches.
pitches.
But he had a great glove. He was a great fielder. And the other one I got Altuve on here.
I had Altuve and then I marked him off because I couldn't put him on my list.
I know he's a cheater. But the thing about it is
cheating bastard.
Yeah, they did. But
but it's hard. It was really.
He's really good,
and it's my age showing. It was really hard for me to put anybody who's still playing today.
Yeah.
Just because of the explosive offensive numbers that are just blowing up now.
Yeah,
and
they
don't know.
Well, everybody's a specialist. Everybody's
right.
I
mean, you ever hear anybody talk about his defensive ability?
No. Nobody talks about defense anymore.
No, nobody gives a damn.
All they care about is how fast the ball left the yard.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about defense anymore.
Nope.
But and again, like I say, he's in there for numbers.
Yep.
And he's in there because he's really a good player.
He is.
But I just couldn't put him in a top 10. Not yet.
Nope. No way. Not now. Not with the guy. There was nobody in that top 10. I would easily take off that list to put him in.
Well, so like I say, second base was never a glamorous position back in our era, if you will, which is what we're talking about here. It was one of those positions as long as you can catch the ball up the middle, you can turn a good double play, and you can take a killer slide, you're good. Oh, you can hit too? That's okay. It's the rare ones when you run into the Sandbergs or the Morgans or the Biggios or the guys that can actually hit, field, and throw. And so they were rare. But anyway, the second base is a tough spot to play. It's a little different nowadays than it was back in the day. Definitely. But anyway,
and you're gonna see that in our next list when we do shortstops.
Shortstops are next
because
it's a different world.
There wasn't a real good hitting shortstop until
no. I mean the shortstops in our era, the 70s, starting in the early to mid 70s.
Mid 70s.
That was an 8-hole hitter.
Yep.
Because the pitchers still hit.
Yeah.
So that was your 8-hole hitter, and not many of them hit. Nope, some hit lead off. Most of them hit 7 or 8.
You had very few.
So it's not going to be a whole lot about hitting whenever we do the shortstops. But we'll come back. We'll do it. So we do appreciate you coming in for this one, and we're going to continue through the baseball season, get all positions whenever. And hopefully by then it'll be playoff time or something. We start talking about those things start to move, get a little bit closer, and everybody stops getting hurt, and we know who actually is going to play in the playoffs and all that kind of fun stuff. So
we might bring our crew back and talk more baseball.
We might
get some more comments in. We had some comments on our first baseman.
We did.
So a couple of them telling us we were wrong, and
that's okay.
Look at this person, and they were wrong, but
they were.
Tell
us what you think.
Let us know. Let us know.
But anyway, we're going to have some other stuff come up. We do appreciate you checking in with us. So go ahead and subscribe, like, and share this thing so we can get some more people to enjoy what we do here. We're going to have some more stuff coming up in different realms of the world, not just baseball. So just hang tight. We got another one coming, so we'll talk to you soon.
See you later.
Bye-bye.